Hey everyone, it's Raj from 3CB. Lakers guard Russell Westbrook has come under a lot of fire due to the Lakers' recent struggles and some very loud mistakes and lack of finishing on Christmas Day versus the Brooklyn Nets. However, a lot of these struggles and issues are being overstated and they're ranked with confirmation bias and results-based analysis. Let's go through 4 key reasons that undermine those criticisms. Firstly, Westbrook was brought in order to reduce the workload on Lakers superstar LeBron James, and he's actually done that. LeBron's usage rate is at the 3rd lowest of his career. Secondly, Westbrook was brought in to play as a 3rd star next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. We already know what he is as a 1 or a 2, and it's not conducive to a title-winning team. That's not what he was brought in for. However, due to the injuries to AD and LeBron, that trio have played less than 50% of the games this season. In the games they have played together, we've seen Westbrook set a personal record for on-ball screens, played quite effectively in the dunker spot, and he's shooting over 40% from corner threes, albeit on a small sample size. However, limited time in that 3rd star role isn't enough time to change some of these ingrained habits, especially when he's been asked to revert back to that 1 or number 2 type playing style when LeBron and AD have been out. People asking why Russ hasn't adapted to a certain playing style and role when he's barely played that role smells of selective attention. Thirdly is lineup optimization. And this is something that has plagued the Lakers as a whole and Russell Westbrook's lineups for the entire year. For example, early on in the year, you had Rondo and Westbrook playing together, which was a terrible idea from the start, and the data backed that up. Further, you had Russ playing alongside 2 bigs, non-shooting bigs at that, with AD really struggling from the perimeter. You had Russ playing alongside DeAndre Jordan, which shouldn't have happened for anybody on the Lakers team. And then lastly, playing alongside, again, a traditional big and a non-shooter like Talen Horton-Tucker, who's also really been struggling from the perimeter. Now, Frank Vogel and the coaching staff have slowly made changes, but they've been very, very slow on the uptake. And just as some of those changes were taking shape and normalizing, COVID-19 protocols hit and then everything unraveled. When Westbrook has played in lineups that fit his profile and his playing style, he has played well. For example, even over the Lakers' 5-game losing streak, when Russ has played with LeBron with no center on the floor, and they've averaged about 15 minutes per game in that type of lineup, they're a 10.9 net positive on net rating and a plus 21 overall. Fourthly, are key trend lines. As Westbrook has shown key positive trend lines across multiple key data sets since the start of December, even with all the COVID-19 protocols. Clinician Basketball, who's a must follow, and go check out his thread on this for more details, outlined this data using his detailed information from B-Ball Index, which is a great site to check out as well, and headed by Cranges. There's 4 key trend lines that were pointed out in the data. Firstly, since the start of December, Westbrook's shot prevalence at the rim has been at 53%, above the 39% that he had prior to December. Since December 15th, that number has been at 59%. Further, when zooming out on that prevalence of shots at the rim, when you look at the 5-game rolling average for Westbrook over the course of the season, that has also steadily increased, especially in the month of December. Further, his finishing at the rim has steadily increased as well. The Christmas game was a definite outlier in that regard. Lastly, Westbrook's turnovers on bad passes have decreased over the course of the season on a 10-game rolling average as well. Those are all key indicators of a player who is adapting and molding his playing style into winning basketball, even with all these other factors that are changing around him. Russ certainly has room for improvement. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, to assess him fairly, we have to look at the full context. This is a player who was brought in to play the third star role, but hasn't been able to do so with any consistency due to injuries. He's been surrounded by a lineup of all new players that have constantly been in and out due to injuries and COVID-19 protocols, and he's been playing with lineups that don't suit his strengths at all. And even with that, he's reduced LeBron's workload, he's improved his shot selection while decreasing his bad passes, and he's been hitting his corner threes. Once the Lakers roster does stabilize, and it looks to be doing so as the team is getting out of protocols, I do believe you're going to start to see the fruits of these changes and the work that Westbrook has been doing to change his style of play.